guys, and welcome to my channel to a brand new video, and today's video is going to be discussing how to cope with bloating and recovery. So bloating and recovery is something that pretty much everyone goes through during the refeeding process. I mean, it's obvious. If you're restricted for the periods of time and basically your body, its functions just start to slow down. So for example, your metabolism starts to slow down, your actual digestive system slows down, your bowel movements pretty much stop because it's got nothing to pretty much work, if you get what I mean. And if you're starving yourself and then all of a sudden giving its food, it's obviously, your body's obviously going to go into shock because it doesn't know what to do with the food, because it's been so used to not having anything in your stomach or in your bowel or whatever that it kind of just freaks out and kind of just keeps it there for a bit. And that's pretty much how you get bloating. It's uncomfortable. But personally, I've already had experiences with bloating before, because if you don't know, I have celiac disease, which means I can't eat gluten, and it means that I've already experienced bloating before because my intestines get inflamed and that causes a lot of bloating as well. So I already know what bloating is and how to deal with it, because I mean, I've had a dietitian in celiac disease and she's kind of helped me with that as well. And then I've obviously just had tips too off my mum, because my mum's also had celiac disease, so she's able to help me. And when I went into the refeeding process, I was almost prepared, but I can tell you one thing, it is so hard having celiac bloat and anorexia bloat at the same time, because it's just extremely uncomfortable, as you could imagine. It's like double the bloat. But as I said that, I've been able to gather some tips and advice on how to cope with it, because unfortunately it's something that's not going to go away overnight, and it's something that does take a long time, but it will go away in the end. But it takes a lot of refeeding basically, and it takes a lot of normal eating to get it going again. And I personally have gathered tips and whatever to try and help myself not feel like rubbish basically during these times, because it's hard. It's really hard when if you're having body dysmorphia or anything and you're having bloating, and many people sometimes confuse bloating with weight gain and automatically think, because they see that they have a bloated belly, that they think it's instantly I've gained a ton of weight overnight or something. And I wish I could say that it'll go away really fast, but I'm still dealing with it. But that is because my body is still not 100% healed. It takes time for your body to heal, and it will do it, but it will just take time with pretty much everything in refeeding and getting your life back from recovery. But some tips that I'm going to share with you are, for starters, like I've mentioned before, avoid mirrors. If you're having a really bad bloating day, it's the least thing you want to see. It's the least thing you want to trigger yourself with, because it might just cause restriction and stuff. And obviously, I know that you can feel it having bloating, but looking at it will probably just make you even worse. Wear comfortable clothing. Don't wear tight clothing. Sometimes I don't even wear. Sometimes I like wearing tight clothing. I'm in a weird thing. So sometimes I like the tight clothing, tights or whatever, to wear, because you can pull them up and then it kind of it feels like it puts pressure to try and suck it in. It just feels much better than rather just having a big bloat kind of in a way. But sometimes I like really big baggy clothing to just not feel tight whatsoever. And I just feel like it's so much better because you don't see it. It's just a lot more comfy. So I recommend you wearing baggy clothing to not enhance what it looks like, if you get what I mean. And then some tips to actually help it physically, or so this is also of my friend Kate, and she mentioned that she likes having warm baths. I use a hot water bottle. You can get these heat patches that are usually for bad backs, but I used to use them for cramp when I used to have my period and everything. So So I used to use them for cramp, and I just put them on my belly and they just heat up like instantly, and like they're much better than having like a water bottle, because you can move around with it, like you don't have to hold on to it, because it's just like it just sticks to your stomach, and it's a lot easier to just like do stuff with, and you can sleep with it instead of having like sleep on like a water bottle if you sleep on your stomach or whatever. But it's just so much better to do, and I really like them, and they're really easy to use. So that's another advice. So anything pretty much heat related is a lot better for that. And then another thing is that I wouldn't recommend taking any tablets or anything, because I don't really think that out like that can really help, and I don't really think that putting anything in your system either is really helpful. Another thing is, when the actual refeeding process happens, I recommend you eat to every 2 to 3 hours, so like 2 to 3 hours between meals and snacks. Because also another thing I realized is that if you restrict, sometimes the bloating can get even worse, and I'm guessing that's because like you just don't want to mess with it. Basically just eat every 2 to 3 hours, and that will just help your system and your digestive system know that it's constantly getting food and it doesn't need to go into shock again, and that it's going to just constantly get it. But honestly, the heat side of things really helps, like especially heat patches and stuff. They just really help me, and I know that they help a lot of other people. And also just do like a lot of self-care, try and distract yourself, do whatever you can to try and take away from, you know, the feelings of the bloating and everything. And I cannot stress enough, do not restrict. If you restrict, you will just mess up everything again. And if you restrict, then your stomach will, like I said, you have to eat quite regularly, like 2 to 3 hours, because your body just needs to constantly keep knowing that it's going to get food, so it's able to get the digestive system going. And obviously another thing, that get a lot of fiber in your diet for your bowels and whatnot. Just do whatever you can to just try and eat and push through the bloating. And I know it's hard, because I know it's uncomfortable, and you might be feeling incredibly full off the bloating, but you have to eat. No matter what, you have to eat. Unfortunately, you don't have the pleasure of choosing not to eat because you're feeling full, or not to eat because you're feeling bloated, like a healthy person probably would. You have to do it, because this is the only way to get over the bloat. And food is your medicine, and you need to remember that. So I hope this video gave you a little bit of insight on how to cope with the bloating, and just how to deal with it, and what not to do and what to do. But one of the main things I just want to mention before I go is just do not restrict. I know it's hard, just please don't. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.